This is a lesson on sequences. Sequences are just numerical patterns. There's two main types of sequences you need to know. That's arithmetic sequences. That's when you're adding or subtracting a common number. If you graph these numbers on a number line, the terms are going to stay the same distance apart. And that same distance is called the common difference. The other type of sequence is called a geometric sequence, and that's when you're multiplying or dividing by the same number over and over. And when you graph these numbers on a number line, they're either going to get further apart or closer together. And that number that you're multiplying or dividing by, that's called the common ratio. So if I give you this picture here, I've got some number, we don't even know what the number is, but it's starting there, and then it's going there and going there, and then just keeps moving. This would be considered an arithmetic sequence because they stay the same distance apart. The common difference, well, they're all 4 apart. All of these from one number to the next is 4 apart. So that'd be a common difference of 4. What is the expression to figure out the next term? Well, you're taking a number and adding 4 to it. So you could just think of it as n plus 4. We'll do a few more examples of these. So this one, we're starting a pretty small jump, and then it's going there, and then it's going a little further apart each time. This would be a geometric sequence. It's changing, the distance between each number is changing. So the common ratio for this, well, this is going to be a weird one. You've got, first they're 1 apart, then they're 2 apart, 4 apart, 8 apart. That distance that we're between each number is doubling each time. So the common ratio is going to be 2. Whatever your number was, you're multiplying it by 2 to figure out the next number. Our next one, we're going to have, it looks like it's going to the left. It's going to the left the same amount. So this is going to be considered an arithmetic sequence. All of the different numbers in the pattern are the same distance apart. The common difference, well, we're going left 3 each time. So you'd think of the common difference as -3. And what are you doing to each number to figure out the next term? You're subtracting 3, so it's n minus 3. You're taking each number in the pattern and you're subtracting 3 from it. We're going to do one more. That's a big distance between the first 2 numbers. Then it gets a little bit smaller. You should immediately see that this is going to be a geometric sequence. The common ratio for this, you have 25, then they're 5 apart, then they're 1 apart. You could think of this as a 1/5. Each distance is 1/5 of what it used to be. Another way to think about it, what are you doing to each number? You could say n divided by 5, which is the same thing as saying n over 5. Now the one a lot of kids mess up on is this last one here, the 1/5 of n. 1/5 of something is the same thing as dividing it by 5. Let's go ahead and look at some numbers and figure out what kind of pattern it is. So I've got this 3, 7, 11, 15. What kind of sequence is this? They're all the same distance apart. It's arithmetic. What are we doing to each term? We're adding 4. So we're taking the number and adding 4. Now the next question is, what are the next 3 numbers in the sequence? Well, if you're adding 4, you take 15, you add 4 to it, you get a new number, add 4 to the next one. You'd get 19, 23, and 27. Those would be the next 3 numbers. Here's another one, 2 to 10 to 50. What kind of sequence is this? If you put them on a number line, they'd be getting further and further apart. This would be a geometric sequence. What are we doing? We're taking the 2. One quick way to figure out what's going on, you take the bigger number and you divide it by the guy in front of it. 10 divided by 2, 50 divided by 10, they both work out to 5. So we're taking each term and we're multiplying it by 5 to get the next number. So the next 3 numbers would be 250, because 50 times 5 gives me the 250, and then that times 5 gives me 1,250, that times 5 gives me 6,250. Here we have 5, negative 1, negative 7. This can be a little tricky because we're dealing with some positives and from some negatives. So we start with the 5, go to negative 1, go to negative 7. They're all the same distance apart. So this is going to be an arithmetic sequence. And starting at positive, going deeper into the negative zone, we're moving to the left. We're subtracting 6 from each value. So the next 3 numbers in this pattern, in this sequence, would be negative 7 minus 6, which would give me a negative 13. And then take 6 away from that, and then minus another 6, and you get the negative 25. Our final one, we have 40 to 20 to 10. If we put them on a number line, they would not be staying the same distance. So this sequence is going to be a geometric sequence. So what is being done to each term to get the next number? Looks like you're dividing each one by 2. So a couple ways you could look at this. You could think of it as a half of n, or n divided by 2. And what are the next 3 numbers in the sequence? Well, you could take the 10. Half of 10 is 5. Then half of 5. A couple ways you could do that. You could do 5 divided by 2. You could go 0.5 times 5 and get this, the 2.5, and then 1 and 1.25, dividing this guy by 2. That's about it. Hope this helps. Best of luck to you.